some young broke dude.
A former 911 operator has been found guilty of hanging up on thousands of callers because they called at times she just didn't want to talk.
Twitter ain't really a safe spot for nobody. I remember some girl killed herself by jumping in front of a train after someone leaked a video of the football team taking turns on her. Then, somebody quoted the tweet, "Live by the train, die by the train."
This thing almost killed my grandma. Okay, first off, this thing is huge. I didn't realize it when ordering, but when everyone left the house one day, I decided to give it the old college try. The suction cup works well. I had it stuck to my bedroom door. Okay, so when trying to use this, it was really big and awkward. I was trying to back against it slowly, letting my butthole adjust to the massive width. I had my iPod listening to Eye of the Tiger, trying to get pumped for the whole thing. Well, I didn't hear my grandmother come home early, and apparently I was making some noise rocking back on this mega dong mounted to the door and singing along to the theme song to Rocky. Well, my grandma comes to investigate and jerks my door open, while I snatch the toy out of my butt, bringing my sphincter with it. My grandmother freaks out and slams the door, which power drives this thing up my anus all the way to the base. I'm screaming in pain, and my grandmother is yelling, holding her chest. Next thing I know, she collapses. So there I am with the bleeding, prolapsed butthole and my grandma on the floor. I'm in so much pain and I'm freaking out, worrying that I've killed her. So I crawled over to her and pushed her life alert button to send the paramedics, one of which was a new guy. And when I tried explaining the story, he literally pissed on himself laughing. Anyway, they popped an ammonia capsule and brought my grandmother back. She seems okay, but we haven't made eye contact for 2 weeks, and my butt is a little worse for wear. And when I fart now, it sounds like a Peterbilt 379 releasing its air brakes.
My cousin is a bitch. 20 years ago, when she was 14, I was 17. She knew I couldn't help my incel-dom. One time, I had to stay with her for 2 weeks, and I wasted a lot of time chasing her to get inside her panties. I even asked her, but she was a bitch and told Mom.
Yeah, I'm officially banned from my family's Thanksgiving get-together because last year I spiked my 12-year-old niece's food with laxatives so she'd shit herself in front of everyone to satisfy my scat incest fetish. I guess I'm lucky they didn't call the cops.
Re-upped after about a week of being sober. Got super spun while I was there. He asked me about a Windows app. No problem, I'll text you a link when I get home. Well, instead of the link I managed to text him this. Me and a pink teddy and an 11-inch dildo shoved up my ass. Fucking drugs.
I've been feeding this puppy meat instead of milk to give it an edge. I basically broke up pieces of hot dogs and used my pinky to get it to eat it. This puppy, in theory, will be stronger because it got meat at 3 days old. Also, is there a reason its eyes are shut? I tried opening them, but it's like they're glued shut. Hashtag science. Hashtag making a puppy evolve faster. To the lady Jasmine who decides to order a massive order from us tonight over $300, then refuse to come collect and pay for her order, please understand we are doing it tough during this pandemic, yet we still try our hardest to provide great service and high quality food. Our exhausted chefs worked tirelessly to cook up this amazing feast to feed your family. Hope this message gets to you and make you as heartbroken and disappointed as us. We hope you don't do this again to another business. We are just trying to survive, and tonight just deflated us.
Man put rope around pregnant woman's neck while his girlfriend cut open her stomach and ripped out the baby. A man allegedly tied a rope around a pregnant woman's neck while his girlfriend cut her stomach open and tore out her baby, a court heard. Savannah Graywin, 22, was 8 months pregnant when she went missing from her home in August 2017. Her parents and frantic boyfriend Ashton Matheny raised the alarm, sparking a major police search, according to U.S. media reports. A neighbor reported hearing a baby's cries coming from the home of 38-year-old Brooke Cruz. When officers arrived, they found a newborn they suspected to be Savannah's child. Cruz initially claimed the child was her own. Days later, the tragic victim's body was found wrapped in plastic and floating down a river in Fargo, North Dakota.
Remember the gorilla selfies of 2 gorillas posing with anti-poaching rangers who guarded them? They were ambushed and killed amongst 12 other rangers who also dedicated their lives to service and protect endangered gorillas and preserving biodiversity. Remember them.
Woman who killed a helpless kitten by putting it in a microwave is jailed for 14 weeks.
Soiling yourself is good.
I'm not talking about those measly tiny little poos. I'm talking about those humongous sausage-like shits. You know what ones I'm talking about. The ones that take you 10 minutes to push out. I like shitting my pants because I feel as though the weight of this shit sort of helps my balance. In addition, it really complements my ass, makes it look nice and plump. Also, if I need to use body spray, no need. One whiff of this shit will scare away all the bad odors. It's also useful when you're hungry. Just take a handful of shit and shove it down your gob. It's really useful in educational environments, such as high school or your workplace.
Homemade bread, $5. Fresh loaves made with my wife's own vaginal yeast.
A nurse takes a newborn out of an incubator for a TikTok video. Just when you think people won't sink any lower as they attempt to get some social media clicks, they surprise you. The latest social media disaster shows a nurse taking a newborn out of his incubator with a cannula in his hand to lip sync to a TikTok video. Yes, a newborn baby with a cannula sticking to him.
Please help, my son hates being homeschooled. Yesterday, during our scheduled furry hour, my 7-year-old refused to be cooperative right from the start. Eventually, he threw a tantrum telling me, I don't want to learn about furries anymore. This is stupid. I wish I could go to school like all the other kids. Needless to say, I was devastated. I tried to tell him that the reason I homeschool him is because the public school system does not respect our beliefs and practices. I reminded him of the time his first grade teacher called child services because I barked at her during our parent-teacher conference. He didn't want to hear any of it though, so I just left him alone to do a math worksheet. I haven't talked to him today yet, and I'm trying not to be upset at him, but it's so hard. Please, have any of your children gone through this phase with homeschooling? And if so, how did you handle it?
Scientists beg people to stop injecting themselves with homemade COVID vaccines.
What's the weirdest thing someone has done to you during sex?
I found a homeless girl behind the dumpster today, so I took her home and gave her a bath. She was pretty and things got passionate, so we started to make love. At one point, I was shagging her so hard the noises that she made, you would have thought she was still alive.
R/unpopular opinion. There's nothing wrong with having sex with a sibling if protection's used. Why do we have laws against incest? To make sure babies with deformities are not born, of course. That made sense in a time without contraception. If you can ensure there will be no pregnancies, there is nothing wrong with siblings having sex. Two grown adults should be able to engage in whatever sexual activities they want. It's no one else's business. In fact, I would say it is less problematic than going on a Tinder hookup. At least with a sibling, you can trust them and know what you're getting into. Better two horny siblings just have sex with each other than fuck randoms.
Baby dolphin dies after tourists yank it out of ocean for selfies.
Ladies, if he nuts in you and you don't want to get pregnant, you gotta let another guy nut in you so the sperm bite to the death.
Sometimes I pray for God to take away my ability to read.
Pictured, Oklahoma girl 15 who died from an overdose after doing viral Benadryl challenge on TikTok, in which teens take huge amounts of allergy drug to hallucinate.
I'm a 13-year-old girl doing it with a 19-year-old one, and I got pregnant, and when I told him, he then confessed to me he was doing it with another girl. The problem is we don't know if the child is half his or hers because her eggs would still be on his penis. Kissing the Coronavirus by MJ Edwards. She was supposed to cure the coronavirus. Instead, she fell in love with it. Dr. Alexa Ashingtonford is a part of a crack team of scientists tasked with finding the cure to the devastating coronavirus. Little did she know she would end up falling in love with it in this steamy viral erotica. Kissing Coronavirus is a steamy tale about forbidden love and dark desires come to life.
Splurting diarrhea while showering saves time, water, and the hassle of cleaning up. A drain is a drain and liquid is liquid, so if your bowel movements are 100% fluid, then I don't see what's wrong with squirting and spraying while you're showering. You save lots of water by not needing to flush. You save time wiping and cleaning up, as the water will wash away any creamy debris, and you don't even need to worry about wasting toilet paper or the hassle of cleaning up. To whoever smashed my fiance's window this morning using a cat and left it dead at my front doors, you're fucked. I'll give anyone $500 to tell me anything that can find who it is.
Sex workers of Reddit, what's the weirdest kink a customer has asked you to fulfill?
This one is really gross, so read at your own risk. I never met this guy in person. We corresponded through email only. He sent me a pet egg, one of those foot exfoliators that looks like a cheese grater, and asked me to take a 5-minute video of myself using it on my feet. He had me use it multiple times over a couple weeks, specifically after wearing smelly shoes. At the end of the allotted time, I would send him the shavings in the mail, mixed with toenail clippings, so we could eat them while watching the video. Gag, but $300 is $300.
Wife allegedly murdered husband and masturbated with his ashes. A woman is said to have murdered her husband and stole the ashes after his husband was cremated. As of today, the 49-year-old has to answer to the Munich 2 District Court. With the ashes, the woman is said to have satisfied herself sexually. At a time after the funeral that was not initially determined by the investigators, the woman is said to have opened the grave slab in the cemetery with a drill and emptied her husband's urn. She put part of the ashes into the cover of her pillow and then satisfied herself on it at least once.
Little brother is diagnosed by a professional with severe depression. Boomer dad is convinced he's just being a little bitch. Stop acting sad all the fucking time, times 100. Dad locks him out of the house so he'll learn to be normal. Dad tosses his medication away because medicine is expensive. Only lets him take his meds when our school finds out and gets CPS involved. Dad makes a scene every time we take him to the doctors. Little bro can't take it anymore. Tells him he can't take this shit anymore. Dad slams his gun on the living room table. If you're really so fucking sad, you'd kill yourself. Bang. Rest in peace, little buddy. Mom running from the kitchen screaming. Dad being put in handcuffs screaming it wasn't my fault. Taken out of school for a bit and into therapy. Dad still swears to this day it was the doctor's medication that made Daniel kill himself. It's been 10 fucking years and it still eats away at me. There's nothing worse than being born to dumb fucking parents.
My teacher told me that her aunt got married when she was 9 years old, whereas her husband was 20 years old and he used to play with her, bring toys for her, and did everything a child wants to do, and that is the most cutest thing I have ever heard. The marriage was done by the girl's consent, and at that time, girls were getting married at young age. I never used the word forced, and those who were saying that the guy stole her childhood, there was nothing like that. He took care of her as a baby and treated her in such a way no man can nowadays. He never stooped her from doing anything, and if such thing is allowed in Islam, you have no right to argue. And they both loved each other, and that's what matters.
Until she denies you sex, cheat on you, or disrespect you. Men aren't scared of marriage. Men are scared of divorce because the law protects women and not men.
Your wife doesn't owe you sex. If she isn't feeling it, she doesn't have to have sex with you. Try harder and be a better husband, then maybe she'll want to touch you again.
I own her. It's my pussy.
I literally wish you nothing but misery and pain in your life. You deserve nothing, and I pray that's exactly what you get. Why should I find only humans attractive when horses are built like this? Seriously. Hashtag zoophilia, hashtag horse.
To combat body shaking and promote body positivity, an award-winning Danish TV show presents 5 naked adults with less than perfect bodies to an audience of 11, 12, and 13-year-olds who get to ask the models questions.